Welcome, Master Duelists, to the Master Duel Dojo. There are some who call me Tim. The path to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube starts here. Hit subscribe to step into the dojo and become an OG dojo warrior. On the docket today, we're going to do replays. You should play Exodia. And then we've got, not the ladder, the event. You should play Millennium Exodia. I keep telling new players that they should play something like Branded. I think Branded has a very, very high floor and a very high ceiling with a ton of room to grow, but Branded being a form of combo deck scares some people. You can get a free Branded deck from the campaign code. Ask your friends. Your friends will certainly give you one. And if you don't have any friends, come into the Discord and someone will give you their campaign code. I already have all the cards I need. I don't need you to put in my code. Come into the Discord and somebody will give you their code. So this is one example of an Exodia Millennium deck. And what the game plan here is simply summon Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate and then kill your opponent. It is literally that simple. Exodia can't be destroyed by your opponent's cards. During damage calculation, he gains attack equal to your life, which is normally 6,000 to 8,000. So he becomes huge, and he can just negate a spell trap every turn. But wait, there's more. You can set Exod Fires of Rage during every end phase, your end phase and your opponent's end phase. And what this does is Regeki plus Harpy's Featherstorm, Duster. Regeki plus Duster. It just destroys all of your opponent's cards if you have a level 10 or higher Exodia. So the deck is incredibly simple. It uses the Millennium monsters to find Ankh, and then Ankh reveals 5 Exodia pieces in your deck to summon the Exodia Fusion. And then that's basically it. You're in the end game. You just need to not die. So here is a non-budget version that doesn't skimp out on any URs. It skimps out on one single UR, and that is second Exodia, because I don't want to craft a second one. I'm not particularly interested in playing this deck long term. That's why I only crafted one. So this deck has Maxi, Ash Blossom, Ghost Bell, Fuelos, Dimension Shifter, and Imperm, all as hand traps. They're called hand traps, although only one of them is a trap card, because you can activate them like trap cards on your opponent's turn from your hand. So all of those can be activated when your opponent goes first, so you can start interacting with your opponent the very second that the game starts. So most hand traps in Master Duel are ultra rare, so you will be short on those, but that's okay. I'll show you a budget version and we'll try it out. So the Millennium cards are worth a read. We have Shield, Golem, and Sengenjin, and all three of them have the same effect. They all say, okay, they have a bonus effect. Shield cannot be destroyed by spell trap effects. Golem prevents your Ankh from being negated. And a Sengenjin cannot be destroyed by monster effects. Their real effect is, while they are in your hand, you can put them in your spell trap zone as a face-up continuous spell. And then, while it's a continuous spell, you can pay 2,000 life points, or reveal Millennium Ankh, show it to your opponent, and summon it, and then add one other thing from your deck to your hand. Shield gets Ankh, even if you already have one. Golem searches for Wedju Temple, which I'll show you in 1 second. And Sengenjin searches for any Millennium monster. If you've played on ladder at all, you've probably seen Sengenjin, Temple, Golem. These are a trio that summon themselves and give you also a free Doom Dragon and then a bunch of material to make anything you want. Wedju Temple is a field spell. So the play pattern here is Sengenjin can get Golem, Golem can get Temple, then you activate Temple, and Temple will place a monster from your hand as a spell trap, and then one other Millennium monster from your deck. So then in the face of spell trap zone, which then you can then use. So this will get you to all of your things, often at the cost of many life points, but if you have the Ankh, at the cost of no life points. And finally, Heart of the Blue Eyes, but this is always a Millennium card. And what this does is when Blue Eyes is in your hand, you can discard it and just get Ankh. So you have a bunch of copies of Ankh. You have at least 9 straight off the bat, plus Sengenjin, plus Golem, plus Temple that can find you 2 other ways to get Ankh. So Blue Eyes searches for Ankh, so it's effectively just extra copies. And if it's in your graveyard and you've activated Ankh this duel, and your opponent summons something that is level 8 or higher, or has 3,000 or more attack, you can say goodbye, and your Blue Eyes comes out. That can happen once per duel. This particular version of the deck also has Dimension Shifter and Super Poly. The Millennium Exodia deck does not care one bit about your graveyard. Those cards just don't matter. So you can play cards like Macrocosmos, which banish anything that go to the graveyard, or Imperial Iron Wall, which says cards cannot be banished to keep everything in the graveyard, depending on the meta. At the time of filming right now, Malice is one of the best decks, and Malice likes to banish a whole bunch. So something like Imperial Iron Wall could be good right now. Traditionally, Exodia has played cards like Macrocosmos to counteract most meta decks, but right now is not the time for Macrocosmos. It's still good against Malice and many other decks. And so, for example, I was playing Mermail before, and Mermail literally can't play if Macrocosmos is on the field. Let me show you what's missing in my budget list and what I've replaced it with. So this is the list I advise you copy to start if you're brand new to Master Duel, or you have a low collection. So it's the same Exodia stuff, but we have only one copy of Sengenjin because it's ultra rare. I advise you have as many as you can play, but you only need one copy. And you don't even need that, but I do very, very much recommend the one copy. One copy of Exodia, and one copy of Doom Dragon. I really like Doom Dragon, and Doom Dragon, I think, solves the most amount of problems. There's a bunch of other ultra rare extra deck monsters that solve problems, but I think Doom Dragon solves the most problems. And then for the other ultras in this deck, Effect Veiler is available in the shop. Ash Blossom, one copy is available in the shop. One copy of Nibiru is available in the shop. Talents, one copy is available in the shop. Imperm and Judgment, one copy are both available in the shop. I would advise you play more copies of most of these, but if you're short on gems and UR Dust, you can just grab your one copy from the shop and play those. I do advise maximum copies of Maxi and Ash Blossom because those go in insane, crazy amounts of decks. Like almost every single deck, the play rate usage on these is something like 86 in the client, but it's over 90%, over like 95% in tournament deck lists. You will use Ash Blossom and Maxi for the rest of time as long as they are legal. So don't worry about those crafts. And then for budget replacements, I have Book of Moon, which is a rare, so it's easy to craft. Just target one monster and flip it face down. Does not work on link monsters. Forbidden Chalice, target one monster in the field. Its effects are negated. So these two both do a similar thing in dealing with an opponent's monster, but they do it in different ways. I have them in 2/2 here because they do things differently, so you want a little bit of diversity. Neither are limited to once per turn, like cards like Ash Blossom are. Evenly Matched is only super rare. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. I feel like this should be the first line of text. So if you have absolutely nothing, you can activate it from your hand. At the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls more cards than you do, you can make your opponent banish cards from their field face down so they control the same number of cards you do. This is really weird to conceptualize what is happening, but what is happening is you can set it like a normal trap card and then use it while you have cards on the field, and it's a decent card. It will make them banish if they have a whole bunch of cards. But what it really does is when you go second and have Evenly Matched, you go straight to your battle phase, you try to end the battle phase, you can activate Evenly Matched from your hand, and you control only Evenly Matched, and your opponent has to banish everything until they have one card, and all those cards get banished face down, which means they cannot interact with them usually for the rest of the game. Very, very rare situations in which they can interact with face down banished cards. And the last card is a single copy of Obliterate. I don't advise in the regular build, but it is a card you can play. It's a continuous trap that you can search off Exodia, but you only normally get it if you draw Fires of Rage to begin with. So Obliterate says, target a monster in the field, send one of the Exodia pieces from your deck to the grave, and then return that target to the hand, which is often called bounce. Obliterate for up to 5 turns, because you have 5 pieces in your deck, can bounce something every single turn, which is a useful effect, but you're getting rid of the pieces out of your deck. And then Azaroon, I don't think I commented on this one, but is in this list. What Azaroon does, it's in the full power list. Azaroon is a continuous trap that summons itself as an effect monster, and it has 2 different effects. So once per turn, when your opponent would summon a monster, you can send this to the graveyard. You can send 1 continuous trap in your monster and not summon it. It means itself. It has some synergy if you play more copies of other continuous traps, but it means itself. Negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. Now, don't get confused here on effects that summon and cards that summon themselves. So there's 2 ways to special summon in Yu-Gi-Oh! One is an effect that summons, so such as Millennium Ankh, or an effect that says special summon. So Sangajin has an effect that special summons himself. And then there are what is called inherent summons, and these are the types of summons like a Link summon or an Xyz summon that just does it without starting a chain. So one of the most classic examples is the good old Cyber Dragon, and they normally have in parentheses where you summon them from, and there's no colon in the text. Those are the types of summons you can negate. Don't worry about it too much. Master Duel will prompt you if you want to activate Azaroon when you can, and you get to Azaroon with Silohat Rabbit. So Exodia is very, very flexible in the cards you can put in your deck, because if you have the Ankhs, you have the Exodia pieces, and you have the other Millennium stuff to get to it, the rest of your deck can be anything you want, and I'm just going to lightning round run through a whole bunch of different cards that you can put in your deck for various reasons when they're good. I'm not going to explain them. I'm just going to run through them. You can either read them yourself, pause the video, do what you want. DD Crow, Effect Veiler, Droll and Lockbird, Ghost Ogre, Ash Blossom. You should already have 3 copies of this. Ghost Bell, Ghost Warner, Skullmeister, Artifact Lancia, Dimension Shifter, Nibiru. You don't want to play too many Nibiru most of the time. Maximum, usually 2 copies. Triple Tactics Talent, same thing. And Thrust, you don't normally want to play too many of these cards because multiples of these can be dead. Dimensional Fissure is a floodgate. Clockwork Knight is another situational floodgate. Mystical Space Typhoon, Cosmic Cyclone are kind of the same thing. They get rid of a back row. Book of Moon and Forbidden Chalice, they turn off a monster, basically. Super Polymerization can eat multiple monsters. Called by the Grave and Crossout Designator are both there to stop non-engine. Forbidden Droplet often has anti-synergy with Exodia when you are playing Macrocosmos, but has positive synergy because you have Temple and all of the Millennium cards in the back row. Infinite Impermanence, you should usually play 3 copies in most decks. Back to Punishment. Solemn Judgment is only good for going first. Royal Decree is very, very niche when trap cards are very good. Not advisable most of the time. Anti-Spell Fragrance is good, but does slow you down a lot because you have spells you can activate, but if you're going first, that's not a problem, and if you're going second, you can activate your spells before you can use Spell Fragrance. Rivalry, Gozen, and there can be only one, are different types of floodgates that only allow certain monsters on the field. Macrocosmos is the same as Dimensional Fissure, but slightly different. Imperial Iron Wall is the opposite of Macrocosmos. Fiendish Chain is like a much worse Forbidden Chalice. I wouldn't advise it this day and age. Power Sink Stone, Soul Drain, and Mind Drain are also different effect floodgates. And then now we'll come back to Dogmatic Punishment. Because you don't need most of your extra deck, you can send different monsters from your extra deck to the graveyard to destroy a monster your opponent controls. But this locks you out of special summoning from your extra deck. So it's not that advisable in Exodia, but it is a technically playable card. And then you can send these that have different effects in the graveyard. So Elder Entity Entis, Fossil Warrior, and Fossil Machine destroy cards. Garura draws a card. Malong bounces something. Omega can put something back. Very, very niche. Packbit pushes a monster to the back row. Aggregator negates an effect. Fergie draws one and puts one on the bottom. And this Tri-Brigade normally just exists to then send Garura to draw a card because this Tri-Brigade has high attack. So those are other options that you can play in Exodia, and depend very much on your collection and what else is good in the meta right now. Twitch chat pointed out, I also stream on twitch.tv/MD_dojo every day of the week, that I didn't mention what a floodgate is. And a floodgate, if you're brand new, is a type of card that stays usually on the field and prevents a type of thing from happening. So Macrocosmos, for example, while it's on the field, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So any deck that wants to use its graveyard at all just cannot instead, because all of them get banished. And Imperial Iron Wall is the opposite of Macrocosmos. Imperial Iron Wall is very rarely ever the play, but it is the opposite. Cards, neither player can banish cards, so they just cannot get banished at all. And there's other floodgates that I already mentioned. So there can be only one, like Rivalry of Warlords. So you can only control one type of monster. So if you control Exodia, you can only control spellcasters, because Exodia is a spellcaster. And your opponent, if they have a deck of multi-types monsters, unfortunately like Millennium, it locks them into only one type. And so the plan is that it hurts them more than it hurts you. Okay, so I'm hopping onto Ranked with the Budget Exodia deck first. I'm going to play a couple games, just see how they go, show you what happens, and then I'm going to play the other version of the deck. We are going second, which is a bummer. This is the type of the deck that really wants to go first and is much worse going second, but depending on the field, can just kill your opponent going second. So here, we open 2 Exodia pieces. The Exodia pieces are complete bricks, which means nothing can happen. Oh no! So we have a Kashtira Unicorn, which can look at our extra deck and banish something. We have only 3 extra deck here, so if I activate any monster effect, he takes Exodia, and then we can't win the game anymore. So I don't think this game is even worth playing out. I'm going to hold the Ash Blossom, so I'm toggling off. I have my settings to hold right-click, because I can't get my Exodia banished, or I will lose the game. Yeah, these 3 are good to see. Like, the rest of the deck is good cards. Alright, so I just have to pray that his Unicorn goes away. And unfortunately, Kashtira Unicorn is a card that exists, and is why you would want more than 1 copy of Exodia. So our tier opponent here is just going off and gets to do basically whatever they want. So we have a single talents. No, it's not possible to draw Exodia here, because we would need 3 more pieces. So maybe if we draw 1 for turn, he activates something and then talents draw 2 more, but that's never going to happen. If they don't go Nat Beast. Nat Beast is not something I've seen in tier elements in a very long time. Okay, so one thing about Exodia is that cards like Mudora, so Mudora targets cards in either graveyard and shuffles them into the deck. So it is a form of disruption if you are trying to use cards in your graveyard. So like Fabled Lurie will summon itself from the graveyard, and Mudora, if you're playing Lurie, Mudora can shuffle it back into your deck, disrupting your play. And so Exodia doesn't play anything like that. So you just completely blank their removal. Okay, we can Ash this if he goes for it now, because he got rid of his Unicorn. So now we can Ash this. Oh, that's right. Glow Up Bulb came unbanned. What is their Earth? Is it the... Are they playing Revival Golem, or are they playing... Because I've seen Revolution Synchron in some older lists. I hope he forgets to summon with Earth. Thank God he does. I don't think he's used it. Okay, so this gets us Ankh straight away. So we're gonna go get Ankh. And I wish that I could get a Golem here, but I don't have a way to Golem. So I'm gonna try to shield and see what happens. He's gonna mill. Yes, I will show the card to my hand. So I believe one of his sets is probably a Crime. Okay, he's activating Rukalos here. Okay, so he has a Meta Noise in his hand, which will set something face down. Or he searched one, and I don't know what the other card is. Okay, now Rukolos has to send something. I think he's going to reborn the Rukolos. Then I'm going to Talents to take it. Why is he activating this now? Blue Eyes is the one card that activates in the graveyard, so he's putting it back in my deck now, which doesn't matter. So I could draw 2 cards, or take something. I could take his Rukolos, but he's already used it, and he has another Tier Limits for Meta Noise. So I'm going to try to draw cards here. He returns Soliac to hand, has Meta Noise set, plus 1 other mystery set. So I'm going to try to draw 2. And find some other Millennium stuff to push through what he's got. Okay, evenly matched. Very, very funny. So now, I'm just going to go Battle Phase. I did not see him search Crime, so now we're going to evenly. He has the Crime. Tier is always lucky. Okay, so he's going to activate Havness, so we can activate Maxine now, or we could save it for his turn, and I think I'm going to use it now, because he's going to summon at least once. So this is Meta Noise and Soliac. Alright, he summons Dragos Pelly. Sure. Alright, we got a Solemn Judgment, so what we do is now we're kind of boned. This kind of destroys our whole plan. So if we go Ankh and summon Exodia, Dragos Tapellia can put a counter on Exodia, and then it can't activate. So I just reveal that I have 2 pieces in hand, and I'm going to summon it in defense because it won't be able to activate. He's going to put the counter on it. This was stupid. I've now realized my mistake, because he won't have this when I Fires of Rage. So I just have to wait for Battle Phase, because I'm going to set Fires of Rage. No, I was right. I was right, because he chains this. Disregard me. I'm correct. There's no way to chain to make it resolve. So now he's going to set this. I can chain that, but the activation will be negated, so I'm just going to let it set, because it would the same outcome. You made it Elemental Hero, Evil Hero deck. You have Morgana, Witch Eyes. And it searches for the stones. Well, I don't think... You want to... There's definitely heroes you want to activate in hand. So this game could have gone a couple different ways. So our talents could have been something else. Like, our talents could have taken instead of drawing cards. We could have gone for Ankh before. So if we went for Ankh and he activated Crime, then we could resolve the evenly. So perhaps we should have gone straight for Ankh and then try to do evenly in the battle phase. But I didn't know he had Tier Limits Crime set. So now, I can activate this, and it gains a bunch of attack, but it's face down. Or it's in defense position, so it doesn't matter. And then the rest of these monsters kill me now. So, unfortunately, this is how Exodia plays, that when you go second, you often don't have enough setup to push through the things, and your Exodia pieces do literally nothing. So I could have set one of those, but it doesn't put me in a better position in the game, because then my piece is in the graveyard. I'm going to keep playing until we go first. So here, this is a much better hand. We have a piece of interaction. We had Ash Blossom in the other game, but we have no more Kashtira. What are these Kashtira duelists doing? So So I'm going to Valor here. This could be a mistake, but it also could end his turn. Okay, so this looks like it's not Kashtira. Is this another Tearlaments Duelist? Tearlaments the second time. A Lava Golem and Droplet in my deck. So yes, those are both good ideas. Droplet, I think, is a problem. Droplet, I think, has some anti-synergy because you draw some Exodia pieces and you can't send them to the graveyard. And you want to use the rest of your cards because you need to use every card to push through things. Lava Golem is a good idea that I did not mention at all because I forgot that it existed. So the 2 attack would be double damage, the 2 attack Morganite. The only way I see avoiding massive damage from each monster attack twice is to have a card in the battle phase. So the point is, with Morganite, I would need to read this one again. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand. Monsters can make 2 attacks on monsters. If your monster battles an opponent's monster, double the damage. So, yes, that is a possibility. You can negate things. You can negate things. You can prevent, you can not activate anything in your hand for the rest of the game if you're going to win the game. So you cut off hand traps if you're sure you're going to win the game. But I ask, like, why do that? We have a new Regenesis card. I've not read any of them, and they're so far out from Astral that I'm not very interested in reading the Regenesis cards. But I'll listen if you tell me what it does. I know they're the 2500 attack deck. No, you're fine on the double set. I think that was the first time I read it, like, out loud and thought about it and addressed it. So yeah, I think you're fine. Alright, so a lot of games also look like this. And we're going to have to fight through Desiree plus Fenrir, which is a problem. We have 3 pieces of action here, but possibly less because Temple sometimes doesn't work. So I'm going to start Sengenjin. Okay, so Reaper is a problem if we don't have a Fires of Rage in the graveyard, because if we mill an Exodia piece, whew, we did not. No Exodia pieces, but if we mill one and we don't have Fires of Rage to put it back in your deck, you cannot activate or resolve Millennium Ankh. So now he has Crime. So this is the danger of hitting something like Fenrir with Effect Veiler, is that this type of card is either used as an engine, like in Tearlaments, or used as part of the whole Kashtira deck. So if he's using Fenrir as an engine, I don't stop him from doing anything. But if his play is Fenrir into the other Kashtira monsters, he does nothing for the rest of his turn. Okay, our opponent has an Apollo. Exodia and Green Eyes hat. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Alright. So this is a problem. Extra Temple doesn't help me, but I will start with the Temple. Man, I love frogs. Okay, I'm going to place this. We're going to add the heart. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no! Heart doesn't do anything. I was thinking ahead. Don't do this, guys. Don't do this. I thought I was adding off Sengenjin, but I'm placing off Wedju Temple. So, now I can't cancel where my heart is going to go. I meant to get shield. Don't do that, guys. Okay, now he's gonna maxi. We will send Genjin to go get the heart for real now. Okay. Ash Blossom, send Genjin. So I wish this was shield, because now I could activate shield. This is where Doom Dragon comes up. So I have two things here. I have to beat both of these. And so the other one will take care of it. So, unfortunately, if I target Apollo, he can negate with Apollo. Or let it resolve and banish my Doom Dragon. And if I target Fenrir, he can negate and then doesn't banish with Fenrir because it's in the back row. So targeting Fenrir is the only option here. And if he... Okay, he negates the activation, so now Doom Dragon should be able to attack over Apollo. But this still doesn't fix my problems. Because Golem only gets Temple. We're trying to obliterate, but we're going second against Tier Limits 2 games in a row. So this didn't get to banish because when your opponent activates a monster effect, and Apollo negates the activation. So I'm going to go battle. He might have an end of main phase like the Tier Cache. So he has Snow to protect Apollo from battle as well, which is a big, big pity. So again, we are completely stopped by a modicum of interaction. Hello, Nick. Hello, Pride. First dojo misplay caught on camera, so I'll go back and clip it. So now he's snowing, and the rest of this game is honestly not worth staying in, so we're going to win the coin flip next time, I promise. We get to go first this time. Sequencing stuff is big in Exodia, but the sequencing isn't hard. Add Lava Golem? We could add Lava Golem. Okay. I mean, this hand is fine going first. As long as our heart doesn't get ashed. Okay, we don't get ashed. We didn't open any Exodia pieces. Woo! So that's how Exodia games go. You've yet to see Exodia actually attack, but that's how Exodia games normally go. Your opponent knows that they won't be able to do anything, and they often can't do anything when you set up Exodia with other interaction. So we get to go first this time. So let's see. We were able to get to Ankh in all of the games, which is convincing, but we were not able to resolve Ankh and do what we wanted to do. Okay, so in this game, I'm going to start with Heart to get the Ankh to reveal things. So we have Ankh. I'm going to play the Temple. So Temple can get negated or destroyed, but very, very unlikely going first. I'm going to place the shield, and I'm going to place Sengenjin. So because I have Ankh, I'm going to reveal it. And I'm going to do a trick here. A hat trick, if you will. So we get Golem. That smelled like a Droll Lockbird, but it could be anything still. Yes, we're gonna do the rabbit play. So we get another temple. So we're full up on temples, but that doesn't matter. Now we're gonna shield and get another Ankh. You need to do all of your summoning first, because you can't summon for the rest of the turn. Okay, now I'm going to summon. Now I'm going to perform a Link summon. So this is Silo Hat Rabbit. I didn't mention him before. He's got a bunch of text, but don't worry about it. When you Link summon him, you set Azarune from your deck, and what you leave on the field is up to you. Most people leave Shield because it can't be destroyed by Spell Trap effects. Some people leave Sangenjin because he can't be destroyed by monster effects. Some people leave Shield because it has a big butt at 3,000 defense. Some people leave Sangenjin because it has the highest attack. I'm going to leave the Shield here because if it would be destroyed, it also goes back to the back row and can search me another Millennium Ankh by resummoning itself. So that is text I also skipped on Wedju Temple. If your Millenniums would be destroyed in the monster zone, you can put them in the back row. This is good Imperm bait. I suppose I still would hold Imperm for Exodia. Try to Imperm Exodia and then play through it anyways, because it forces them to negate Exodia. So I reveal 5 pieces in the deck. The zones don't matter in this deck. Now my rabbit gets shuffled away because of Ankh. Uh-oh, that was 5 summons. I could get Nibiru here, which would destroy my life. But he had another interaction earlier in the turn. No Nibiru. I don't know what he's up to. We are going to end phase. Set Fires of Rage. So yes, playing into Nib is real here. And this is part of the learning of if you want to put all of these out. Hello, the real Daniel. How's it going? We are just doing a little bit of Millennium gameplay. Could be a Lancia. Lancia can be activated at any time. So he's going to eat my Heart of the Blue Eyes. So this does not stop an effect that activates. And Book of Moon sets his monster face down. Wait a second. Wait a second. I don't think I changed decks. I must have. No, this is the 3 extra deck. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm going to Book of Moon, the Dormouse here. I don't know why he summoned this first. I forgot to change decks. That's fine. Okay, so here, my opponent can ram into Exodia. He's going to take a bunch of damage. So I have the option to Fires of Rage, destroy Druis Worm, and then he targets Exodia. Or, Exodia gets big, he takes some damage. So goodbye, Exodia. And now I don't have a second one here. So I don't have a way to win the game outside of my other Millenniums. So he can get back his Druis Worm here. Yeah, Exodia recently received new support. It's this level 10 fusion guy, which is what everyone wants Exodia to be. Doom Dragon is the solution here. Doom Dragon and the Millenniums is how you solve this game. So he's going to Gold Sark. So he's going to banish a Malice. He's going to activate its effect to summon itself. Also, Sengenjin is just really big, which is why I advise 3 copies, but if this is the budget version, I only have 1 Sengenjin in this deck. So we're gonna have to use Temple to find our way to more things to summon Doomed to finish this game. So he's gonna summon White Rabbit. White Rabbit's gonna set a trap card. I'm going to allow it, and then I'm going to flip Azurune so that he can't link summon. If he link summons, he has the option to lose whatever he summons. Okay, I'm going to summon now. That Drew Ascend or Fiendsmith Send was the pain of my existence when I ran this deck. Yes, unfortunately, your Exodia can be targeted, and that is why something like Macrocosmos or D-Fissure is very, very helpful, because then those outs in Engine, so Bestial, Druisworm, and Fiendsmith Engraver, you can't even get to them to out Exodia. So he's going to link summon Cerberus, and he has the option here to activate Cerberus, discard a card, and send. And if I don't Azurune, I will lose my Azurune, and then he can continue link summoning. So this forces my Azurune. Okay, so now, unfortunately, his Druis can come out. He can also banish Rabbit to summon Druis. More shield is fine. And when you can, you want to Temple to place so that you can place the other things here. So if I summon this, I get another Ankh, and that does nothing for me. I summon Doom Dragon, and Doom Dragon is just 3,000 attack. Doom Dragon cannot put set cards in the back row, so I'd have to place my own monster here, which is not what I want to do. I can relink Hat Rabbit, but again, that doesn't do anything. So a second Exodia here does nearly finish the game. He can summon Druis. I have Exodia. If I activate Fires of Rage, he then just sends the Exodia. So Druis protects him really hard here. So now, I don't think we can win the game because we don't have more Sengenjins either. So Druis will banish the Rabbit or the Mouse, either one. He can activate that to summon. And then he can just have his whole way with us on his turn, which is not worth watching. He can only activate 6 Malice monster effects, but that doesn't matter. He doesn't need to activate 6, and there's only 4 main deck monsters he can activate. So we're just finished here. Even though we're at 8,000, the game is over. So here we got to go first and did lose. We had everything we wanted, and we lost the game because we do need a second Exodia sometimes. We've now switched to the non-budget deck, and hopefully we can show how those cards help win more games. So we're going second here, and I hope we can draw some ultra rare hand traps. So we have Super Poly. Super Poly could be Lava Golem, and Super Poly more often than not just eats 2 of their cards. He does nothing. Absolutely nothing. So shield. Okay, Lancia. We don't care. Hello, Bobby. You're in Diamond 4 right now, trying to rank up. Before you hang up the deck, what do you mean? What other decks do you have? Okay. We get Ankh. So here, our opponent doesn't have anything else, so we activate Ankh, summon Exodia, attack for 8,000, and he dies. And I think that this is representative of how the games actually go, is that they are very, very draw dependent, but I think that that is good. The skill floor is very, very low. So you don't actually need to be very good and know very many of your opponent's cards. None others, well, have you tried Branded or Malice? Both are much harder to play than Exodia, but I like both of them. Tier Limits again. We're going second versus Tier Limits with no interactions. We have single Sengenjin and Temple. Like, I suppose Doomed Dragon could bail us out of this if we send Rukalos back. Okay, we get to watch our opponent's combo, and this is the plight of going second, and many people just concede when they go second, but your win rate will be much, much worse, but it's not very different if you can't win the game anyways. Okay, our opponent has a Havness in hand, which they'll be able to summon on our turn, if we activate a monster effect, not during the damage step. Okay, so he's summoning Destrudo, which will combine with Tear Cash to make a Baron here, which is 1 negate. So there's the Baron. They're going to destroy their own Shiren, which will then activate. So this is Rukalos plus Baron, which is going to be tough to beat. Plus 5 other cards. One of them is Havness. I was not paying enough attention to see if they got... They also have Crying. Thanks, Ghost Spell. You returned too late. So we have 2 things that can activate, and they have 3 negates. So this game is donezo. And that also stops this. Okay, we're gonna play Sengenjin. Now, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now it's not possible for us to win the game. I was gonna say it doesn't really matter what we get here, because Baron can negate whatever we get. We would need a Golem on the field in order to prevent Baron from negating. And his other set was a Crying. Okay, we are going first. Did our opponent send us first? I think that's a problem. You can always check in the log here. So my opponent has selected going second. So this hand isn't terrible. So I'm going to summon the shield. Yes, I will reveal the Ankh. No, I don't want to pay any life points. Because this summons a big butt. Okay, Maxi. Maxi is the one downside of going for shield first to get the extra Ankh. Because now he gets 1 extra card. So I'm going to Ankh. Reveal 5 pieces from my deck. And then because he picked second, he probably has something like a Lightning Storm or a Harpy's Feather Duster to destroy all my back row. So I want to hold Exodia's negate for one of those, if I can. And unfortunate that he gets to have 7 cards going second. So this is where something like Anti-Spell Fragrance would be a useful floodgate. Because we went first, we set up Exodia. And then he would not be able to activate any spell cards. Yes, probably Tenpai. It's possible it's hero. It is hero. So I'm gonna let this happen. Because he's got hero sleeve, so I thought it's possible that it's hero. It's possible that it's ancient gear. Although I've not seen a dedicated blind going second hero deck. So this is new to me. I'm going to Imperm Stratos here. It's possible he has Mask Change. He does not have Mask Change. He has no quick effects, or he's toggled off. So no Forbidden Droplet, no Mask Change. Okay, he summons a second Stratos anyways. So he's going to add a hero monster. Normally, now let's read this here. 2 hero monsters. So normally they want to link into Infernal Devicer to get, what's it called? Neos. So I'm going to summon this now. Yeah, I also always Imperm Stratos. I love Stratos. One of my favorite cards. Okay, he's going for Ferris. Tributes the Shadow Mist. Summons itself. Now he's going to place the other heroes, the trap card. Increase. Okay, so we can Fires of Rage when he activates this. And then we're sitting on Super Poly and 1 Spell Trap negate. We want to negate something like Polymerization if he gets to it. Okay, there's the Neos, which makes me think he has a Poly. So when he activates Increase, I'm going to Fires of Rage. So he loses a monster now. Whether or not Fires of Rage resolves, Exodia can negate effects. There's a difference between activations and effects. Activation is when you put it on the field. An effect is when an effect of an already face-up card activates. Increase was currently a trap card, and face-up spells and traps that are not normal spells and traps must remain face-up on the field to resolve. So opponent sets 1. Sets 2. This is good news for us. Our opponent is also at 4,000. So Exodia will still be bigger, but we could turn Azarun to attack position if he was at 8,000. So it's asking if we want to activate either of these, and no, I'm not interested. And if you right-click on Exodia's standby phase effect, because it's mandatory, it will make you activate it. Alright, this, he's going to... This summons from hand as well. I am going to negate this. Favorite Contact just fusion summons something now. He can't summon the guy that destroys my stuff. And then my opponent can see it. So that is how most games, when you go first, actually play out. So I hope you learned something. I hope you have a fun time playing Exodia. And make sure to join our Discord if you have any questions. And I stream live on Twitch and YouTube all weekdays during the week. One thing funny that happened, I don't remember what I was playing. I think I was playing Blue Eyes. And my opponent activated Purge. And then he summons Exodia. And then he attacks his Exodia into Link Spirit or something. I had... Maybe it was Linkaribo. It was Link Karibo. Link Burrow. Because it was definitely Link Burrow. My opponent summons Unstoppable Exodia, attacks into Link Burrow, takes 300 and Exodia dies. It was very funny.